It is said that the Duke Leto blinded himself to the perils of Arrakis, that he walked heedlessly into the pit. Would it not be more likely to suggest he lived so long in the presence of extreme danger he misjudged a change in its intensity? Or is it possible he deliberately sacrificed himself that his son might find a better life? All evidence indicates the Duke was a man not easily hoodwinked. From Muad'Dib Family Commentaries by the Princess Irulan. Welcome to Reading Dune, a podcast where we read Dune by Frank Herbert and talk about it. If you're a Fremen or a first-time reader, this podcast is for you. My name is Caleb Pauls.
And I'm Evan Diaz.
And together, we are going to read some Dune.
Yeah, we are. I don't think I said that last time.
No, you definitely did.
Oh, I did? Okay, great.
I mean, it's in my script. Not that you can see my script, but it's in my script. It says, Evan says, yeah, we are.
That's amazing. Okay, fantastic. So I definitely said it.
Just so I know to pause and then let you say your line and then we continue.
Right.
All right. The Duke was a man not easily hoodwinked. Yet here we are in front of the biggest trap the universe has ever seen. Why would he do such a thing?
Leto.
I mean, I feel bad for the dude.
Right.
Like, there's got to be something with the past, right? His father would go into bullfighting pits to face danger, and eventually got him killed. Leto was a space cavalier, saving people, always in danger, always up front. He's used to it. But why did he step into this trap? Because as we know from chapter 1, there's nothing for the father.
Right.
That's what the Bene Gesserit said.
So that's why it says maybe he was just looking out for Paul. Like maybe he was doing all of this so that Paul could maybe amount to something great, you know?
I mean, yeah, Paul would have been a great Duke of Caladan.
Right.
Would he be emperor? Probably not.
Probably not.
But yeah.
It reminds me of the first conversation between the Duke and Lady Jessica, where they like got in a room for 5 minutes and they came out and they're like, yep, we're doing this, you know? And maybe that is like the conversation that they were having. It's like, hey, I want to make a son who's going to be the emperor of the world. You're a Bene Gesserit. You can make that happen. What do you think? Let's do it. You ready? Let's do it. Let's go. Come on.
We will take every possible advancement the universe gives us and get us to this point where it's ultimately possible because I believe you're hot and this is going to be awesome.
Right. You fine. You got that mind thing going on. We could do this.
There's nothing that can stop us. Not even the Harkonnens. Yeah, here we are on the most important planet in the galaxy, on Arrakis. All right, so we enter this chapter. Duke Leto is in a parapet of a land control tower outside Arrakeen. The night's first moon, an oblate. I'm definitely saying that wrong. What is it?
Oblate?
Oblate. I'm doing a Google.
Google it. Readers, tell us if we say things wrong. We're looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah, oblate. A spheroid flattened at the poles. So just another word for sphere.
Just a stubby ball.
It's that stubby ball in the sky.
Also, it says the first moon. How many moons are there on Arrakis? Do you know?
There are 2.
Ah.
Things we're learning about Arrakis. Yeah, there are 2 moons. And fun fact, deep down, not that it's relevant to the story at all, but it's pretty cool that Arrakis also has 2 stars, one of them being a white dwarf.
Right.
The solar system. So that's 2 stars, 2 moons, and that creates sandworms, evidently.
Okay. I'm not gonna question Frank. I'm just gonna trust him.
That's part of the universe.
That's one of those things. It's like, how did SpongeBob have a campfire?
You know what? Yeah.
You know?
That's a great comparison.
You just go with it.
Us millennials, if we can put anything, it goes back to SpongeBob.
Right.
All right. So, at the first moon, it hung above the southern horizon. Beneath it, the jagged cliffs of the shield wall. So we had again another reference to the shield wall. It is the main feature of the basin. It makes the basin. It's like staring at the Rockies. You're not going to stare at them if they're there.
They're just kind of there all the time.
Right. They don't move. It's really weird.
They're mountain. Get over it, Evan and Caleb.
All right. So he notices there's something posted above. Let's see. There's something, he's next to a pole, and on it there's a poster. And on the poster it says, "Our sublime Potish emperor has charged me to take possession of this planet and end all dispute." Probably with his face on it or something. With the royal, or the Atreides hawk or something. Right. By the way, I'm in charge now.
Yeah.
Right.
Very regal.
Strictly propaganda here. I am the one in charge, and you should listen to me.
Right. And Leto's like, dude, this sucks.
He definitely says that. He was like, who is fooled by this fatuous legalism?
Which is fancy talk for, dude, this sucks.
Yeah, nobody really cares right now. Not the Fremen. The minor houses, they could care less if I die or if I live.
Mm-hmm.
And they control the inner trade of Arrakis, right? They'll be there whether I'm here or not. And we're Harkonnen creatures almost to the man. And then his thought gets interrupted with, "They have tried to take the life of my son. They have tried to take the life of my son."
And he says it over and over and over again, the whole chapter. That's just in the back of his head, eating away at him.
Constantly. He knew it was going to be dangerous. But we haven't even hit night 1, I think. We went out for a nap.
Yeah.
And he got attacked.
Jeez.
We haven't even finished sorting out anything, and they're already on top of us. Oof. He knew this was going to happen, but this is fast. The rage was difficult to suppress. He saw lights of a moving vehicle coming towards a landing field from Arakeen. He hoped it was a guard and a troop carrier bringing Paul, so it's probably way off in the distance. You can see it coming in. The delay was galling, even though he knew it was prompted by caution on the part of Howit's lieutenant. "They have tried to take the life of my son." His head shook to drive out the angry thoughts, glancing back over the field where 5 of his own frigates were posted around the rim like monolithic sentries. Better a cautious delay than... The lieutenant was a good one, he reminded himself. A man marked for advancement, completely loyal. And his mind goes to Arch Sublime Potish Emperor. And so he's stuck in this illusion of okay, they tried to kill my son. Why am I doing this? This really doesn't mean anything. This means nothing.
The whole game is falling apart in his mind. He's like, why is this even a thing? Our sublime Padishah Emperor. What is that? He's deconstructing this whole idea of the empire and the class system and all this stuff. He's just like, this is so dumb.
It's definitely what he's thinking. He says, what else is one to expect of barbarians who dearest dream to live outside the ordered security of the Frafalus? Who would dare live outside of this system?
Right. And I mean, that was the emperor. The emperor said that, right?
Oh yeah. The Emperor's private note.
So he's thinking
Like,
like the poster says our sublime Padishah emperor. But if these people knew what he really thought about them, he would not be their sublime Padishah emperor. He would be just a big jerk, you know?
big jerk in space someplace else.
Right.
No, that's definitely it.
And they kind of hold the power, you know, like Arrakis holds a lot of power. If they were just like, nope, no more. You stop, you know, what's the emperor going to do?
Evan, I can see your revolutionary mind is starting to spin about who has real power on Arrakis.
Stick it to the man, Fremen.
Yes, and I think that's what. The Duke is definitely aiming for that direction.
Yeah.
And it's at that moment the Duke kind of like, right? His dearest dream is to end all class distinctions and never again think of it, which is crazy foreshadowing when you get later on in the books.
Sweet.
Because I don't even want to say anything. But when you get to book 4, that happens. Okay, so moving forward. He looked up and out of the dust at the unwinking stars and thought, one of those is my Caladan. Right? He gets caught up in homesickness. Which, of course, he would. He's surrounded by dust.
Right.
Like, who doesn't at that point? But he says, I must mask my feelings for the boy's sake. If he's ever to have a home, this must be it. I may have think of Arrakis as a hell I've reached before my death. So he's already thinking about himself dying.
Right.
But he must find here that is which will inspire him. There must be something. So again, it's that, yes, this sucks. Yes, I'm probably going to die. But if Paul is ever going to succeed, this will need to be his home. And then he gets a poem by Gurney Halleck stuck in his head. My lungs taste the air of time, blown past falling sands. And then he's like, well, no crap, Gurney. There's a lot of sand here now. Like, and then he gets him thinking about the Fremen. If anything could buy a future for the Atreides line, the Fremen just might do it. Because the Harkonnens didn't even bother counting the Fremen. They were animals to them. How many could there be? And I think that's why he sent Duncan out. He sent his swordsman out there to say, all right, I need my best man to go out there to prove us to these people, which we will meet. We will meet.
It's like an asset that the Harkonnens just did not take advantage of because they're snooty, you know?
Yes. And that, he's definitely thinking, like, if we could get the Fremen on our side, we will have something that nobody else has.
Right.
And they're all thinking this way, right? Because the Fremen are as battle worn and as tough as the Sardaukar and all this stuff. But can you win them over? Are they people to be trusted? Those wrinkly little people. They have tried to take the life of my son. And then he sees the shuttle coming in. He says, time to go and get to work. I'm guessing this is a shuttle from, could be from the guild ship coming down. It also could be a shuttle coming from the open sand from where they do spice mining. I'm not real sure.
It sounded like they were just coming fresh off of Caladan.
Yeah, so fresh from the Spacing Guild liner.
Right, because the soldiers come out and they're just kind of being jarhead soldiers and, you know, being jerks and they're like, oh, did you see the planet? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like they say a bunch of really funny stuff.
You know, he's talking about the gravity. How many G's into this place pool? Feels heavy. Right? Like,
feel that under your dogs? That's gravity, man.
Did you get a good look at the holes on the way down? There's all that loot they're supposed to have. The Harkonnens took it with them. Me for a hot shower and a soft bed. Haven't you heard, stupid? No showers down here. You scrub your ass with sand. Hey, can it? There's the Duke. Like, so the shadow comes in. The Duke decides to go down because he's got to meet with Gurney. And it's good to show the men the Duke.
Right. And it's cool that they all fall completely silent as soon as like they see him. There's that like respect, that like power there. That's really cool.
And that's definitely what he's trying to emulate, right? He needs to wield that power the best way he can.
Right.
And he's done it before, and now is the time to prove he can do it. And then we meet old Gurney. He strode over the point of the crowd with a bag over one shoulder and his bassalet clutched in the other hand. Never leaving any place without his bassalet. Never know when you need a good strumming. Is that what kids call it these days? Strumming it?
No one calls it that.
It's not like you play guitar or anything, but you would know.
No one calls it that.
Okay, you're right. No one calls it that.
Yeah.
All right, so then the Duke looks at Gurney, admiring the ugly lump of a man, noting the glass splinter eyes with their gleam of savage understanding. Here was a man who lived outside the Fraffaluches, who, while obeying their every precept. What was that Paul called him? Gurney, the valorous. So here's a person who doesn't live within the class lines, but definitely respects them. Like, Gurney doesn't give any craps about who's who.
Right. He's just trying to survive, and the best way to do it is to just kind of play the game. But in reality, he's like, screw it, man. Who cares?
Yeah. He knows he's going to die anyway, kind of a thing in life. He might as well surround himself with people who are noble and just. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Who are the best? I could be a slave on Giddy Prime in the Harkonnen world, but no, I'm here, so I might as well just be here with my people who are good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be valor. Halleck's wispy blonde hair trailed across barren spots on his head.
The boy ugly, okay? He is not easy to look at.
But you know what? He keeps the long hair. He likes it. And he's got that big jawline scar. The whole area was casual, shoulder set capability. He came up to the Duke and bowed. And I love how Gurney, he looks like this, but he's just chocked full of quotes. Like, he's just one big quote machine, just spitting lyrics.
Right. I low-key, love Gurney. It's like every time he shows up, he's just so cool. And he's like, waddles up there. My lord,
He gestured with the balisette towards the men in the room. This is the last of them. I'd prefer coming in with the first wave, but...
Yes. Being snarky to the Duke when everyone else was paralyzed by respect and admiration.
I guess it's something about dude friendships. Just a little burn, just right there. All right. And the Duke plays with him like there's still some Harkonnens for you. And he's like, step aside, let's talk. And Gurney's like, cool, let's do it. So they moved into an alcove beside a coil slot water machine, while the men stirred restlessly in the big room. So I think that's like a vending machine that just pumps out water.
Ooh.
Halleck dropped his bag. I mean, again, Frank wrote this in the 60s. This is high tech. This guy's by the water cooler. And the Duke asks, how many men can he let Howat have? So the Duke is concerned about safety and security again. Howat doesn't have enough men for the Duke to feel safe. Because, what's to say? They try to attack his son.
Right.
He says Howat's only lost 2 agents, but his advanced man gave us excellent line on the entire Harkonnen setup here. If we move fast, we may gain a measure of security, the breathing space we require. He wants as many men as you can spare, men who won't balk at a little knife work.
Knife work. Shingo.
Right. Like, again, we're not questioning anybody. We're roughing them up a little bit.
Right.
Nobody deserves to be questioned here.
So hard right now. and
Just shanking people.
Gurney he's like, yeah, sure thing, dude. We got
Doesn't even blink. Like, yeah, I'll give you 300. How's that sound?
Yeah, it's like, yo, we need some dudes to shank some people. It's like, yeah, I got 300. They're dope. They'll shank anybody. They're awesome.
They shanked 3 of them shanked me getting here. I love it. I played them well tuned and everything was fine. But then Gurney's like, but we have a problem. The field commandment will hold a shuttle here until dawn. The guild highliner that brought us is going on its business, and the shuttle is supposed to make contact with the cargo ship taking up a load of spice. Our spice, my lord? Our spice. But the shuttle will only carry some of the spice hunters from the old regime. They've adopted to leave the change of fife, and the judge of the change is allowing it. These are valuable workers, Gurney, about 800 of them. Before the shuttle leaves, we must persuade some of those men to enlist with us. Right? We need people here. We need men with experience. Because, I mean, if you've worked on Arrakis, yeah, it's nice. The spice coffee's okay. Conditions suck. Giant worms trying to eat you.
Right.
Let's try to. If there's an opportunity, I'd bounce.
Right. But for Leto, these guys have experience that is like none of the soldiers from Caladan have that kind of experience.
No, they're all still water fat and don't know how to do anything.
Right. So he's trying to keep as many of those guys that are choosing to leave as possible. Because if they're choosing to leave, they clearly don't have like really strong allegiance to anybody who's on the planet. So
because the Harkonnen ones are the ones who are paid by them would stay because they've been paid.
Right.
So yeah, it makes sense. These are good people. Let's see. So down on the lower level in the waiting room, I suggest you go down there and play a tune or two, soften their minds, and turn on the pressure.
Right.
I like do what you gotta do.
I like earlier how Leto is. You must persuade some of the men to enlist with us. Gurney goes, "How strong of a persuasion, sire? Do you want me to shank some of them?"
No. Just sing to them.
Sing them some songs and then like turn the pressure up.
He goes, and by the way, we'll give money, like offer money, 20% higher wages than they received under the Harkonnens. No more than that, sire. I know the Harkonnens' pay scales, and to men with their termination pay in their pockets and the wanderlust on them, well, sir, 20% could hardly seem proper inducement to stay.
Right.
I could see that. Money in your pockets, wanderlust, want to get out, see the world, galaxy,
Right.
Ludo spoke impatiently. Then use your own discretion in particular cases. Just remember the treasury isn't bottomless.
Right.
Hold it to 20% wherever you can. We particularly need space drivers, weather scanners, dune men, and anybody with open sand experience. And then Gurney quotes Suum. I understand, sire. They shall come all for violence. Their face shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity of the sand. What?
So cool. Who just like pulls that out?
Just quoting stuff. A very movie quotation, the Duke said. And then he was like, oh, and by the way, thank you for doing that. Make sure you give a short drill on water discipline, because that's a thing.
Right.
And field personnel will direct them. And don't forget about the men for Howitt. 300. And then where should I report to you when I've completed my chores? And then the Leto says, I've taken over the council room topside. So we'll hold staff there. I want to arrange a new planetary dispersal order with armored squads going out first. Halleck stopped in the act of turning away, caught Leto's eye. Are you anticipating that kind of trouble, sir? I thought there was a judge of a change here. Then the Duke. both open battle and secret. There'll be blood aplenty spilled here before we're through.
Right. He's like, I'm ready for everything immediately. They've tried to take the life of my son. Like,
yes.
I'm getting ready for the worst possible situation right off the bat.
And I feel like there's a wait and see thing that he's not doing. Like, he is attacking.
Right.
And they're very much in a defense mode, but he's on the offense.
Right.
At this point. Which, I don't know if that's the best move in a knife fight, because they do go, I guess knife fighting is the main way they kind of talk about all this stuff with Canley and knowing which hand holds the knife.
Right.
If you're always on the offense, you usually get slipped up. Just a thought.
Right.
The Duke sighed. Hurry back, Gurney. Very good, my lord. The whip scar rippled to his grin. Behold, as my wild ass in the desert go I forth to my work.
It's like he just like totally was self-deprecating and like making a joke, but it's still like this beautiful quote. Behold, as a wild ass in the desert, go I forth to my work.
And I mean, you can't help but not like Gurney.
Right.
Like, he's not the traitor. There's no way that Gurney would be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sell out. Like, he doesn't care.
Right.
He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, he's just like trying to play guitar and shank some people.
Occasionally shanked people when he has to.
Right.
And when they don't like a song or something. Presently, Leto took a leisurely diagonal course across to the lift, acknowledging salutes with a casual hand wave. He recognized a propaganda corpsman, stopped to give him a message that he could relay to the men through the channels. Those who had brought their women would want to know their women are safe and where they could be found. That makes sense. And the others would wish to know that the population here appeared to boast more women than men. Such a Duke thing to do. Oh, by the way, guys, it's pretty cool here.
Yeah. Let the married guys know that their wives are safe, and let the unmarried guys know that there's plenty of wives around here.
I know, if you don't mind the sand going up your butt, it's okay. The Duke slapped his propaganda man on the arm, signaling the message had top priority. Put out immediately, and then continued across the room. Don't you love it when, like, somebody like an elder or like your boss just slaps you on the shoulder, like, yeah, good old man, get
him back here.
Command must always look confident, he thought. All that faith riding on your shoulders, you sit in the critical seat and never show it.
Right. And he just like through the room kissing babies, basically, and he's like, hey, guy, hey, good to see you. Hey, nothing. All right.
He gets in the lift, turns around, doors close. Breathes a sigh of relief. He could turn and face the impersonal doors. They have tried to take the life of my son.
Whoa, I'm over here dropping stuff. That got me, dude. Because, like, Leto, he's a really good leader, but, like, to his core, he doesn't believe in this whole system. And he knows how to play the part, and he's like we just said, he's like walking around and he's kissing babies and he's talking to the guys and he's smiling, and then the door closes and he's like, ugh, like, why do I have to do this? So dumb. I just want to tear it all down, And that seems to be where a lot of this, like, that affection with Gurney comes from, because Gurney, for many reasons, just shouldn't be there. Like, he just seems like he's in the wrong place, and he's like saying snarky stuff to his boss, which in this whole universe so far, that's like not something that you do. And Leto's just like, man, you're awesome. I love you. You're so cool. you know? And he's like, it says like at one point when Gurney, after he says the ass in the desert thing,
Yeah.
his head at the retreating back. Halleck was a continual amazement, a head full of songs, quotations, and flowery phrases, and the heart of an assassin when it came to dealing with the Harkonnen. So he's like, he's walking away and he's just shaking his head like, gosh, this dude is cool.
And he trusts him completely.
Right. Which, why wouldn't you? He's like, what you see is what you get. He's this knobby, like, lump of a man, but he's exactly the way he is. And he's, like, pretty unapologetic about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in this chapter, we're starting to see the Duke unravel a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the beginning. You can start to see, like, he's even thinking about, okay, after I die, this needs to be Paul's home. Like we have to get to a certain point before things fall apart, so Paul has a fighting chance.
Right.
And so that goes to like the beginning of the quote. The quote in the beginning of the chapter was talking about like what does like he's not a person easily hoodwinked. Why would he say yes to this? Did he have an option to say no? Why doesn't he run away? Maybe he's just doing the best he can with what he has and knows that Paul will eventually like take over and puts him in the best spot.
Right.
I mean, he's trained Paul to do everything he possibly can. He's got that Mentat training. He's got training from Jessica.
Or Leto knows exactly what he's doing. You know, he just wants to be the guy to flick the first domino that knocks all the other dominoes down.
Yeah. Maybe he just knows like this is how it ends. I'm not getting out. We're gonna set things up and everyone's coming with me. Right.
And like I say, in every episode, people, I have no idea what's coming. I have zero context for this.
You have not watched the movie. You have not went on Reddit. You don't know how this ends.
I avoid any photos of like the characters and stuff. I like looked up the what's that weird word that he said at the beginning? The Farfaluches?
Yeah, Farfaluches.
Farfaluche, whatever. I looked it up to see like the pronunciation, like what it was, and it took me to a Dune wiki, and I was just like, don't read the words, don't look at the pictures, just find the pronunciation. But where's the pronunciation button? Because I also don't want to know, you know? Usually I dive in and research all the things, but I kind of like not knowing.
It does add a different flavor for sure, because we are definitely going to have a different experience, a much better one than the movie, I might add. If you follow along with all the chapters as we go through them, then I think you'll have a better experience overall. It'll be much longer than going to a 2.5 hour movie, but
right.
I like the thing much richer. We're not as cute as the actors that are portraying the people. We also don't get paid as much, so it makes sense.
We get paid not as much as anything. We get nothing.
No, what you can do is you smash that like button, and that you could, as a form of payment to us, just your attention. Also follow us at Reading Dune at Twitter and email us all the things we're doing wrong and some things we're doing right. Who knows? There are lots of paths this could go. And if you're enjoying this, we like a good encouraging message or a good quote, like Gurney.
I kind of just want any message. I'm stoked anytime any message comes in. So,
message from the people.
Right. They're there. They're listening.
It's like in the last chapter on the shield wall, you see a little like Morse code and light.
Yes.
Hey.
Beep, 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 beep.
We are here.
Even if you want to make fun of our mannerisms or something, I would love that. So
we're all for the self-deprecation here. So stay spicy, and we will see you next chapter.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye.